They tried to do it. That's the main point. We have a lot to improve, but they try. This is the first point, the most important point. They were thinking too much during the game. Try to cope with everything we said during training, but what future?
That is Ruben Amorim's reaction to Manchester United's 1-1 draw against Ipswich. I think it was a very, very good post-match interview that he gave, and I think he's going to be very, very disappointed with the result. I think it was a performance where it lacked intensity and lacked ability by loads of Manchester United players. I think there were maybe 2 or 3 players that actually did do well throughout the whole 90 minutes of the game. I think it was a very, very underwhelming team performance, but you got to look at it. He had 2 or 3 training sessions with the full squad, not even a week's training. He said the players were trying too hard, and ultimately that is obviously, as you can see, is adamant. The players were trying a bit too hard to implement the style that they were wanted from Ruben Amorim. I think it was interesting to see in his post-match interview the way that he talked about each individual player and did kind of call out some players. I don't think he's going to be happy. I think we've got another big game on Thursday against Bodo Glimt where you may see more changes to that team, but I think the shape was there, the formation was there. I think the issue was just the players. They weren't really, the ability wasn't there. I think a lot of players struggled. I think you look at Amorim, he's going to be 100% frustrated with that. The fact that we dropped points and the fact we didn't really create enough, that is the most disappointing thing. And you can see in this post-match interview and in the quotes, it was very, very disappointing. But I think, listen, the average positions, I think the defence was okay. The main issue was the attack. Listen, the goal we conceded was just a wonder strike. And the goal we scored was fantastic after 81 seconds. But overall, in the game, we didn't really do enough. He also said they want this, the players want this, they don't know how to get that, was my feeling. Like, listen, we know the players want to succeed under Amorim. And let's see what does happen. As I said, only 2 training sessions. So, yeah, let's see. But very, very frustrating. I think there's a lot to improve on. I think the issue is the players. I think certain players struggled in the formation, and you can see, I think Rashford struggled in that 9 position. I don't think that's going to be the position for him. I think he just didn't really have confidence. After the 81 seconds where he scored the goal until the 60th minute, he didn't really do anything in the game. I think Garnacho, he's struggling to get a position out of him. I think Amorim's got to really look at this squad. He's going to have, 3 more training sessions before the game against Bodo Glimt, and I think he will get a better understanding of the squad. I think definitely Ahmad has to be moved further forward. But again, the issue is Amorim likes a left-footed right wing-back, so maybe you have to see Ahmad out there. But for me, Ahmad is definitely Manchester United's best attacker and should be further up in the pitch. I think Garnacho, as I said, struggled. I think the best position for him in the squad would be left wing-back, where he can hug the touchline. I think Johnny Evans in the left centre-back with the mobility, the agility, massively struggled. I think Rashford, who I've already talked about, I think Casemiro and Eriksen together, with just no legs, no mobility. That's ultimately where they struggled. I think mainly when Ugarte will absolutely suit that role fantastically. I think Casemiro and Ugarte, or Casemiro and Eriksen can play, but maybe not together. As I said, Mazraoui, I mean, he's been fantastic in every game. Onana made 2 fantastic saves. But again, Amorim was impressed by some performances. He talked about how Mazraoui's performance was top. But again, there's a lot of criticism. You look at Xerxes, these sorts of players. I think when Luke Shaw came on, I think he was relatively good. I'm hoping he can get some minutes under his belt. Because I think he can be a key player in that left centre-back role. Who else? Mount, when he came on, he looked okay. Listen, Amorim will learn a lot, and he's ultimately going to be disappointing. He obviously did put a lot of quotes out, which I'll go through now. He said, at the end of the game, we are around the box with 2 strikers. Joshua Zirkzee has to understand that he has to go into box for some crosses. Listen, it is very disappointing that we couldn't score goals and we couldn't really have that impact in the game which we would have wanted. But again, you have to give him time. But again, it wasn't great from this Manchester United team. There's still a lot of work to do. A lot of work needed to kind of really improve. And I think that's something we will do. Yeah, he said, thinking too much is a confidence issue. He said they're thinking too much because things are so different. Some details, they used to pass the ball and go forward. Even with the centre-backs, he talked about Delo, who used to pass the ball into the centre-back and play as a midfielder. Now he has to stick to his position. So it did make a lot of sense. He said it's frustrating for the fans, but we are changing so much in this moment with a lot of games. We are going to suffer for a long period and we will try to win games. This will take time. You guys had 2 days in training. And that's something that you have to talk about, but you also have to be realistic. The next couple of games, there's some tough games in there for Ruben Amorim. We won't have much time to settle with this squad. I mean, the next game is obviously Bodo Glimt on Thursday. Then we've got Everton at home on Sunday. Then we have Arsenal away, Nottingham Forest, Victoria Pleasant, and Man City. Like, the games are going to be thick and fast. He won't have much time to work to implement it, so he must make the most of all the training session and all the moments he has with the players. I mean, it's a game every 3 days now, realistically, until January, really, and then we've got sort of a break there. But yeah, we must be very, very careful. I think Amorim will take a lot from the game, though, a lot of learning points, learn a lot about the squad, and ultimately I think that is ultimately what is needed to go forward and ultimately develop here. Look at certain things that were good and certain things that weren't so great from the game. But listen, let me know your thoughts. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.